Awesome. Can we also have Mr. Amadou Nyang, Director ICT Mogde, my boss. Mr. Keba Sise, CEO and founder of Kashma. Mr. Amadou Sow, Senior ICT Manager at Pura. Unfortunately, we are missing out on one of the panelists who was supposed to come from Central Bank. He sent his apologies, but I think this panel is well diverse enough to handle it. Oh no, we need you there. We need the color. We need the color, we need the feminine energy. We need the woman boss. We need the woman in tech. Thank you so very much. Upstairs, the plates. Can somebody help us with the noise? Awesome. All right. So welcome everybody to the second half of the third edition of the ICT Expo. I am going to be moderating this panel. My name is Ms. Mengelo. The Vice President of the IT Association of the Gambia, ITAG. And the theme for this panel is the state of preparedness in response to disruptive technologies. This particular topic was stemmed directly from the theme of this year, digital transformation, emerging technologies and innovation. So we wanted to know what is the current landscape in terms of our state of preparedness to receive these technologies, but also to nurture its growth. I would start with my immediate right here. We have the able founder of Innovate Gambia. Innovate Gambia has been in the scene for the past 7 years and rolled out multiple initiatives around disruptive technologies and innovation. And we thought she would be a great addition to this discussion. And I will hand over the mic to her, Ms. Mary Lokan, if you can give us a brief background of who you are, what you do. Thank you.
Is it on? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invite. As she mentioned, my name is Mary Lokan. I am the founder of Innovate Gambia. But people do know me mostly because of the Woman Boss. And so it's an initiative that also is under Innovate Gambia as a whole, as a project. My background really includes finance, strategy, the whole boring, I guess in a little bit of sense of, tech. And so I'm just glad to be here. Like I said, thank you for the invite.
Thank you so very much. Handing over to Mr. Amadou Nyang. He should be a household name by now. My able boss. Can you please just give a brief background of who you are and what you do?
Thank you, Menge, fellow panelists. My name is Amadou Nyang, like Menge highlighted. I am the Director of ICT at the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. I have been with the ministry since 2009 as Cadet ICT Officer and rose through the ranks. My background, I have a bachelor's degree in CSIE, Computer Science and Information Engineering, and I have a master's in IT Strategy Management from Coventry University in 2015. So as Director of ICT, I serve as the head of the ICT cadre. I have 60 staff across government under me. So if I am angry at any one of them, I can post someone to Basse. So I have so many powers, actually. But just a joke. Yes, so the entire ICT staff in government, they are under the cadre, and I serve as the director. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Moving along to Mr. Keba Sise, the CEO of Kashma. I'm sure you have heard about the name also. Source of marketing stuff around, exciting stuff that he's doing. Keba, can you please give us a brief background of who you are, what you do?
Okay, thank you, Menge. Good afternoon, everybody. To my fellow panelists also. My name is Keba Sise, the Managing Director of Kayor Enterprise. Kayor is an IT services company here in the Gambia, focused on developing innovative software solutions. We have a product portfolio of over 20 to 30 products, and one of them is Kashma, I think, which is one of our more consumer-facing brands. Kashma is a fintech startup and looking to address some of the fundamental challenges around financial inclusion and promoting of a digital economy.
Thank you so very much. Exciting
you.
stuff. Moving along to my far left there, Mr. Amadou Sow of Pura. Can you please give people a brief introduction of who you are, what you do?
Hello, good afternoon. I am Amadou Sow from Pura, Senior Manager of ICT. I am responsible for the ICT unit and also the International Gateway. My background is computer science and mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I'll stick with you right there. Mr. Amadou Sow of Pura. We know that Pura is one of the key institutions when it comes to the regulations of disruptive technologies. And as disruptive technologies continue to reshape basically the utilization of utilization and telecommunications, what does Pura have in terms of policies and strategies to make sure that there's fair competition, consumer protection, and efficient deployment of these services?
Thank you very much. The role of Pura is to protect the consumers as well as protecting companies or businesses within the ICT sector. As part of our mandate, we try to develop policies or have regulatory framework that will try to discourage some monopolies and anti-competitive practices. So we try to play a level playing field for all service providers, and at the same time trying to avail all the necessary resources that they require in terms of deploying services. And this is very evident of the recent 5G deployment in the Gambia. We all know across the world, frequency is very expensive, but we try to make it very affordable here in the Gambia because the market is very small, and also try to encourage businesses in the Gambia to bring innovative technology within the country. Because ICT plays a great role in terms of socio-economic development. Without good infrastructure in place, it will be very difficult to roll out services where consumers could benefit greatly. So we try to have a very good framework and at the same time collaborate with other sister regulators where we have overlaps. For instance, the Competition Commission, the mandate is in charge of competition. But we do have an MOU with them where if we need their expertise, we tap to them for them to at least help us in terms of our investigation and regulating the sector as well. So as the Central Bank of the Gambia and GRA. So where we see it necessary, we try to make sure we have MOUs just to make things easy and smooth for all businesses and consumers as well. So when there are issues or problems, it will be addressed, smoothly and easily, for both consumers at the same time, service providers within the sector.
Thank you very much. I will come back to you in terms of that fair and level playing field for everyone, just because I've had the privilege of sitting on one of the fintech committees, and there were a whole lot of challenges that came from that discussion that was registered there. But I'll skip Mr. Kebasise and go to my able boss here, Mr. Amadou Nyang. Today, earlier in the morning, we had the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Digital Economy, and personally, I visited the minister himself, and we have seen the different policies and strategies that the new ministry has put in place, especially the five-point strategy that the ministry is putting down. How is the ministry collaborating with other government agencies and private sector to make sure that the implementation of this 5-point plan is a success?
Thank you, Menge. So, well, just before answering that question, I want to indicate that, in fact, to achieve the entire, the topic of discussion when it comes to disruptive technologies, I think as a ministry, even when we were under, the previous ministry, Information and Communications, well, us as technicians, we knew there was something that needed to be done to prepare for what was coming. So this was the reason why there was a policy paper that was discussed and to advise our principals when it comes to having a standalone ministry responsible for digital economy and for the entire digital transformation landscape of the country. So I think that translated to the decoupling of the then ministry and the establishment of MOGD back in May 2022. And of course, the appointment of Honorable Usman Ba as Minister of the sector. And of course, the great thing is someone who understands the dynamics of sector. Because for too long, what we have been having as a ministry was, excuse me, but people who were media biased. But when they come to the ministry, they will realize the ministry was more or less about 10% media related, but 90% was actually ICT related. So there was a mismatch. But with the establishment of the Ministry for Digital Economy and with the appointment of someone who understands what the sector is talking about, I think this added a lot of value. And this is why when the minister was appointed, he came up with the 5-point agenda. And then, like you said, to achieve this thing, obviously you need a lot of collaboration with stakeholders, including the government entities and of course the private sector. So I think maybe just a few examples I will highlight. Under the 5-point agenda, you have the payment gateway, which is very, very critical, because we know for too long, most of the internet governance forum we will have here, mostly in this very, very hall for the past couple of years. One of the outcomes or one of the points on the communique is always a robust payment system, because it's actually affected e-commerce in the country. So when the minister came, payment system was actually part of the most critical things in his 5-point agenda. So a special committee was established to look at this, which constitute the central bank and of course Ministry of Finance and all the players in the payment space. But we did not just stop at that. We also went to the extent of calling in the fintech companies, because whilst we work on addressing the payment gateway, obviously you need a policy to address the payment systems, a fintech policy. And as a country, we do not have a fintech policy. So there was a meeting that was actually held, and we brought in all the the stakeholders in the payment system to discuss and strategize on what needs to be done. And maybe the other collaboration I will also indicate is the operationalization of the National ICT Agency, because we know as government the ministry should really focus on policy directions, but the implementation of those policies, you need a dedicated agency that will work with the private sector to move the government agenda. Because of course, as a ministry, you do not have the resources, you do not have the HR, the human capital that you need to make sure all those things are in place. But now with the operationalization of the National ICT Agency, I think it is our view that most of these things we are talking about now at least will be realized. But of course, like he said, the critical thing is effective coordination and involvement of the private stakeholders, including and most especially the private sector.
Thank you so very much. I'm going to stick with you right there, because I genuinely believe that we cannot talk about disruptive technologies without addressing the level of risk and threats and exposure that it brings to consumers. In as much as we want to embrace artificial intelligence, blockchain, and all of these things, a critical point of that discussion should be also cybersecurity. What is the ministry doing to make sure that in as much as we are championing disruptive technologies, we also have a plan in place to protect people that are going to be using and consuming these technologies?
I think that's interesting. And my Tom here, Amadou, also is the head of the cybersecurity team at Pura. But when MOGD was established, we did some restructuring. Because before, what you had was a directorate of ICT responsible for basically everything. So what we did was we restructured and established different directorates, and now we have a directorate of cybersecurity, and one of our staff who has actually a master's in cybersecurity from University of Maryland was actually appointed as director of cybersecurity, and he's very vast. And we are, I think sometime last week, a principal cybersecurity officer was appointed, and also a cybersecurity officer was also appointed. So I think all these things we are doing is actually in line with our preparedness. How prepared are we as a country? Because apart from that, we know under Pura we have the GMSAT that is sitting under Pura to support that. But maybe Amadou will talk more on that. But as long as cybersecurity is concerned, I think we have the National Cybersecurity Policy and Strategy, we have the action plan, and as we speak, we have the draft cybercrime and cybercrime and privacy bill that is actually heading to the National Assembly, but just sitting at the Ministry of Justice, but it has already been approved by Cabinet, so it's going to Ministry of Justice for just, to refine some 1 or 2 lines, and then it will get to National Assembly for the possible enactment procedures. As a country, we are not saying we are there, because to be honest, I think at the last IGF we were here, a lot of people were commending the ministry with regards to cybersecurity. But what I said, when it comes to policy and strategies, we are there. But as a country, Gambia is still virgin. We understand what happened, I think sometime earlier this year, the attack, the ransomware that happened with the central bank. How prepared are we? I think, this is the right platform that we should all speak and be very frank and say, you know what, we need to address 1, 2, and 3. But as a ministry, we have the sound policies, the legislation are coming. But, I think a lot needs to be done, really. But like I said, the unit now, the Directorate now of Cybersecurity is there to support us. Right. And GICTA will also have a unit, a department for cybersecurity to address issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am still a bit mad with some of my colleagues who did not withdraw and share. But I digress. But those are very, very key issues that we need to start centering conversations around, because Gambia, like you said, is virgin, but we are seeing these new attacks coming into place. And if they can do that with the highest bank of the country, imagine what they could do with other small institutions that don't even have half of the infrastructure. So it's a conversation worth having. I will go to Kashma. And as you know, we could arguably say that, Gambia is late adopters when it comes to fintech. And I just wanted to know, as a new fintech company that is exploring this space, can you share some insights in ways in which Kashma is contributing to solving the financial inclusion crisis that we have in this country, to make sure that the marginalized groups are also part of the banked people?
Thank you, Maggie. So the place I want to start is for everyone and everything, right? So at the core of Kashma's mission is financial inclusion. So even our tagline says that. And for some of you who are following us on social media, we started talking about Nyoko Mom, Nyoko Mom. It's ours. So when we started, Kashma, it was to solve some of my frustrations, right? Personally. It was to solve some of my frustrations. And if I was frustrated, I can only imagine my aunt in Gain Sanjar. How are they getting access to finance and financial services? So that was the core of everything that we do, making sure that we're providing services that are accessible to everyone, right? And we go to great lengths to even making sure that even the app, when you download it from the store, that's where it starts, right? When you download it from the store, it doesn't consume as much data, right? Right? Because we know the problem. If you want your app to be accessible, people are always counting how many megabytes do I have to buy. Mm-hmm. So financial inclusion, from an app perspective, you have to think about that. So from that to providing services in a way that my mother can use, who always says, Keba, can you please do this for me? To the point where, this is easy enough for me to do. So whatever we're thinking, you have to think about it from an inclusive perspective, right? If you want broad adaptability. So those are some of the things, just at a high level, that we have been pushing from the beginning, and also making sure that we have a broad network of partners. Right now, if you want to get access to financial services, formal access to financial services, it will take the average person more than 90 minutes to complete a transaction. Right? From my house to the bank, when I get to the bank, 30 minutes to 45 minutes for somebody who has a private banking relationship. If you don't have a private banking relationship, it's another hour and a half, right? Then you have to come back home, like minimum 90 minutes. And these statistics have been established, and I am one of those. So how do we address that? We want Kashma to be in every neighborhood, right? We have a network of agents where people can go in. If the ATM machine is not working, you go to the Kashma agent, right? We have looked at our fee structures to make sure that everyone finds it accessible. Like when I say, and again, when we say for everyone and everything, that's what we mean. We looked at every aspect of it: accessibility, the cost, right? The cost of doing this transaction. You pay what you use. Right now, a lot of the financial institution, a lot of people complain. I like to use my mom as a scapegoat. I stopped banking because whether you bank or not, money comes out. Right? Whether you bank or not, money comes out. I don't want to bank anymore. But with Cashma, we were like, okay, so that's not really fair. So provide a service that people pay a nominal amount when they use. Right? So those are, again, we have a lot of, and we're always coming up with solutions, like when, we're always coming up with solutions that really drive at this financial inclusion challenge.
Thank you so very much. Great work that you're doing right there. Like I said, Gambia is a late adopter, I would personally say. We have had the mobile monies, but when it comes to fintech, core fintech in itself is still in its, we still don't have regulations. Let's begin there. So you can sense how new the space is, and people like you are forcing to have those conversations and to move the needle, and we really appreciate that. Just, moving over right along to Miss Awa Mary Lokan here. An individual and within their team that has spent so many millions of dollars to push. I would like to say that Innovate Gambia is one of the first companies that I encountered that pioneered the conversation around the cloud and digital transformation. And I wanted to ask, 7 years into this space, looking back, do you believe the landscape has changed in truly embracing digital technologies, and what can be done differently so that we do not continue to lag behind?
So this is a yes and no answer. Yes, because obviously there's been a little progress. Obviously sitting around the room, I can hear it right next to me. With the ministry developing a new ministry as well, so kind of breaking it into two. But I would say no too, because we still have a long way to go. Obviously, that's why we're having this conversation, right? So I think when we started, we created the ecosystem that challenged the way that businesses and government offices were doing business as usual. And so it started making people think a little bit more, what can I do, what can I change, what are systems that I can change? Because I remember when we first introduced cloud, it was definitely shy upon because, it's like, is it safe? Is that something that, you can bring to the country, et cetera, et cetera? And now you're seeing more and more people embracing the cloud, right? So I would say yes in that concept now, but let's take like infrastructure. So infrastructure, let's talk about that availability, the quality, the affordability for people. Internet is so expensive. When I come here, the amount of money that I spend on internet, I don't think you can spend it anywhere else, at least not in the Western world. So we do have a long way to catch up. At least for us, it was definitely a little bit difficult to get into the government, right? Or other initiatives that the government offered that could be as a leverage for us to come in and invest. And so, yes, there's still, we're lagging behind, so we can leapfrog on that. And then I would say increase the public-private partnerships, because that's still lagging. More of that could be, especially within the tech ecosystem, would be great. And then my final would be increase the tech skills and development center. You do see definitely, as you could see today, even with the pitching, right?
Yeah.
You do see that there's a lot of potential in the Gambia. There's a lot of potential, but I think skills are lacking. Some centers are here and some don't, but the affordability too could be. And then, just increasing that, and that means that government spending a little bit more to increase in the workforce development. Yeah.
So I'm just going to stick with you there. When you said tech skills, and Disruptive Lab was one of the first innovation labs in the country. We could all agree to that. And so they play a crucial role in fostering technological advancement in any country. And so since Innovate Gambia has been doing this, what initiatives have we implemented as a lab, and you have the additional services like i.e. cloud, the GM, point-click
Right.
technologies, the woman boss. How are you using those initiatives in supporting what the government is currently doing and also supporting startups and entrepreneurs in the Gambia to harness disruptive technologies to add to economic growth and development?
Good question. So when we introduced Innovate Gambia back in 2017, you do see, I think you kind of feel like I'm walking around today and I'm looking at the names. Some of these names arrived after we introduced Innovate Gambia, right? And so you do notice that the disruption of the cloud or the disruptive space from the innovation hub, being that the Gambia was definitely the first tech hub. The Innovate Gambia was the first tech hub. You do see the difference. We introduced accelerator programs, and that was not done before. So increase our first accelerator program. We develop programs for startups and existing entrepreneurs as well. A lot of policy advocacy and building capacity building programs as well as networking, gender equality, et cetera. But investment really in the tech space is definitely what you would feel most across, because you see within, like I shared before, within government or even other private sectors, you do see the need to innovate more, right? The fintech came in. I'm so glad to hear about the payment gateway, because that's been, in conversation since I got here. I'm like, why are we not accepting PayPal? But, just to hear that at least there's working, things that are being worked on. Export readiness programs for women or for men, having programs like that, it's all because of the seed we planted, 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And to see that now it's being flourished, it's definitely amazing.
Awesome stuff. I will just scoot over right back to Kashma. Because, like I said, as somebody who was privileged to sit in the FinTech committee, I heard so many challenges, and I know that our FinTech landscape could have gone further than where it is today, just because of those challenges that are happening. But I wanted to hear from the horse's mouth. What would you say has been your biggest challenge as a newcomer in the FinTech space that has affected Kashma's growth and adoption rate?
How much time do we have?
You have about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Yeah. Do I have 10 minutes? I'm just kidding. It's been an interesting journey, right? But it was something that I always thought that it was going to be difficult. The challenges we have, we can talk about it for days. Yeah. Obviously we were at the same meeting and you can hear us, the frustration. But I like to categorize them, in buckets, right? At a high level, we talk about the stated preparedness. Are we prepared for these things? Yeah. You talk about disruptive technology. The problem with disruption is something that is unanticipated. So it's difficult to prepare, right? So I realize that. So I talk about adaptability, right? And willingness to change. Whether we like it or not, the IT sector, the fintech space, is moving so fast, only the adaptable can survive, right? So if you say, oh, I'm prepared, okay, you can prepare for this today, 6 months, somebody else is talking about something else. Yeah. So with that adaptability, there's two elements. One, having the foundational structures to be ready for when that change comes, and two, the willingness to change, right? To accept new ways of working. One thing I know in Gambia is accepting new ways of working is close to impossible. Yes. I'm not saying impossible, but close to impossible. So adaptability and change is a big issue. I cannot tell you how many times people have approached Kayor for a new system, yet they want the new system to work exactly like the old system. Right? That's what they want. Oh, we want the technology, but this is how we do it here. Do it like that. So no matter how much you want to prepare, adaptability and change is going to be critical, and those are that's one challenge that we have. It's a big, big issue. My supervisor, when I say my supervisor, my regulatory supervisor is not here, so I'm going to talk all I want about them. There's a lot of operational inefficiencies
There.
especially with our public partners.
I'm expecting Mr. Amadou, just not to cut you, to be taking
Right?
notes, and the two Amadous on the panel
Right? Okay.
to take it back to your bigger boss.
Yes, and for a company that is innovating at the speed of light
Yeah.
and competing with other private companies, we cannot afford, I cannot find your letter. We cannot afford it, right? We talk about financial inclusion. We put a proposal to my regulator. I'm not going to name them. We put a proposal to my regulator. This is how specifically we're going to address inclusion. It's accessibility, affordability. Please approve. In January, up to now, we don't have an approval. Not that they don't want to approve it, because they cannot find the letter.
Wow.
Right? And I see our Mary shaking the heads, right? So for that level of urgency, financial inclusion is a pillar at the central bank, right? But if you put a proposal, they tell you that we cannot find the letter, let alone approve it. Right? Or they will give you an approval. They'll say, Kashma, you're approved to work. Right? Kashma, you've met all the requirements. We know all your partners. Your partners have written to us. You're okay to work. But before you work with your partners, tell your partners to also write to us to get approval.
Wow.
That takes 9 months. Right? It takes 9 months. I'm talking about concrete examples of what we're going through.
Yeah.
Talent. Our Mary alluded to it. Right? We have, whenever you say technology, and unfortunately I was not here to hear about how we're incorporating technology into the curriculum. I think that was the earlier panel. Kayor has had the privilege of recruiting the top talent from the university, bar none. But 90% of those recruits, they don't even have the foundational skills to provide solutions at Kayor standard, at a global standard.
Wow.
90%. We invest at least 12 to 18 months in each of our recruits to provide something that the public can consume. Right? 12 to 18 months. The next thing, one of the things that we've also talked about is regulations. Again, a very difficult one, because if you look at it, prior to last year, there were 2 operators.
Yeah.
Right? There were 2 operators in the fintech space for the most part. And the reason there were not many entrants is because the barrier was so high. Right? Thank God Kayor was there to support Kashma to get in. But the barrier was so high, nobody could really get in.
Yeah.
And the existing operators, because they were comfortable, did not provide any service to the consumers. And that's why there was only a 2% penetration when it comes to fintech and mobile money services. Right? So I know the regulatory conversation is difficult, because if you overregulate, you kill innovation.
Yep.
If you underregulate, you increase risk, right? And you don't want to put people at risk. But you cannot be too far behind. Kayor applied for Kashma license under the 2012, I don't know if you guys know, under the 2012 mobile money regulations. That's 10 years behind in technology, 10 years behind. So, really, the state of the regulatory environment needs a lot of work. And lastly, we talk about interoperability between the operators, right? And interoperability is a desired state. Is it a required state? I have seen in in advanced, economies where there is no interoperability, yet the operators are existing. What interoperability does is it provides the consumer with the choice, right? And not being forced. Right now, if you wanted to send from Kashmir to B, it's not possible.
Yep.
So you are forced, especially if you're on the receiving side. You're forced to get B. But if there was interoperability, you can pick the solution that makes sense for you,
Right.
and then have them work on the on the back end to make sure that Kashmir can send to Table or Afri money, right? And give the, so at that point, is it the regulator's responsibility to say by force,
Yep.
you have to do this? Nobody likes by force, right?
Yep.
Because by force also has cost. There's cost implications. And once you get to that cost implication, now you have to make a business decision.
Right.
Is my spend going to give me the return on investment? If it doesn't, I'm not going to prioritize it. If you don't prioritize it, you're not looking out for the consumer.
Right.
You're just looking out for yourself and your bottom line.
Yeah.
As a business, I am always looking out for my bottom line, but I think that's why we have the regulator here to also look out for the consumers themselves.
Thank you, Keba. I think it's both heartbreaking but also encouraging, because I think we have the relevant people in the room that are going to take notes and make sure that these things are fixed. Because I think at the end of the day, in as much as it affects the bottom lines of companies like yourself and our Marys here in the panel, at the end of the day, us as the end user, we are the ones that suffer the most. Because once cost is high to operate, the business person is always going to offset that to the consumer. So at the end of the day, you guys are not going to suffer as much, and it's us. And I hope that these are some of the conversations that we can take back into our offices to really ponder on them and see how best we can remedy it. But I'm going to stick on the conversation of interoperability, and that's where my very good friend there is going to come into play. There's this thing of he who feeds you kind of own you, and a lot of the people within the tech space believe that that is what is happening with Pura. That we just, it's just a general sentiment that this is what is happening with Pura. And I wanted to ask you, as somebody who is an insider, who is sitting down in these meetings that we are not privy to, how are you guys implementing strategies to make sure that the big giants are not crushing the little ones that are coming into this space? Because when you talk about telcos, the relationship between telcos and fintechs, they're quite funny now, right? Because it's almost like they both need each other, but it looks like the fintechs are the ones that need the telcos even more, right? How is Pura, using its powers to make sure that the big guys do not kill out the little innovations that are coming along the line?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very interesting question. And to begin with, regulators only implement policy. If we have the right frameworks in place or the right policies, the regulator implements those, and then both consumers and service providers will benefit from that. But I think we need to review some of the policies that we have. As Keba has mentioned earlier, some of them are too far behind time, and they need to be updated. What we are currently doing with our ministry is trying to amend or review some of those policies. The first one, we already working on it, and almost to the tail end, which is the IC Act. It's been reviewed, and a lot of changes are expected in the current bill. Hopefully, it will be passed soon and come into effect. As a regulator, we also try to come up with guidelines to protect the new entrants into the market. Of recent, we are in the process of defining the ICT markets and then also identifying the SMPs. Once we identify them, we are developing also a regulation that will help us in trying to regulate the big giants. the big ones, the big fish. If you do not have these frameworks in place, it's very, very difficult for you to regulate them and trying to have a level playing field for all.
Yep.
The project is near finished. The regulation, we have it in draft stage right now, and hopefully before the end of the year, we will get it passed. The markets are already defined. We are validating the report currently. Once it is validated and adopted, then we would send the regulation to our line ministry for it to be gazetted. So we try to develop some of those guidelines to help us, but I think the most important thing is having the right legal frameworks, the right legal instruments to help us try to address some of the things that are happening currently. But our legal frameworks are way behind time, you know? And I think most of the challenges we are encountering is coming simply because even when you want to enforce certain things, you do not have the right powers to enforce certain things, or you are limited. Because some of the things that you would want to do as a regulator when you do not have all those powers, you're relying on your line ministry or another sector minister to take certain decisions. So you do your investigation, want to sanction someone, but you don't have the powers to sanction. That has to be authorized by someone else who probably does not work in that sector, does not understand the sector, and is a politician. So it becomes very difficult. No?
True, true. Well, I don't know how we're going to move that conversation. It looks like we're going to be having a lot of consultative meetings until we figure that one out. But I think the first step, like Keba rightly mentioned, is really, and you and yourself, is really setting up the legal instruments so that it could give you the powers that you need to be able to make sure that the smaller ones are also given fair chance to really thrive and grow. Speaking about regulations, I will go back here to my boss before we quickly start throwing questions to the floor. Just like what is happening in the fintech space, with having already, I think, about six fintechs that are in this space, and there is still no regulations to regulate them. What is the ministry doing to make sure that they're learning from this lesson so that it doesn't happen with other conversations like blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things? What is the government doing to learn from this, I would say, mistake, to make sure that we are better prepared for those technologies, because they're currently being consumed by Gambians, whether we know that or not? Yeah.
Thank you. I think to be clear, like Amadou indicated before, the regulation of fintech is actually in two folds. Yeah. When it comes to the technology part, that is on the Pura, let's say the fintechs that are riding on the telecoms, because Pura regulates the telecom sector. But when it comes to fintech as a business and all, it's not under Pura. So, and of course the central bank is not also under Mukti, so that's a different conversation. But with the establishment of the Ministry of Digital Economy, I think we have indicated that this is something that we should be responsible. And the great thing is that this conversation has actually gotten to the highest level, highest level in this country. When we started having this conversation, I think it was very rough in the beginning. We had to get to somewhere to clear a few things out. But I think the positive thing here, like we're saying, is some of these laws are actually being reviewed now. The IC Act is currently being reviewed, and also the direction is actually to empower Pura as a regulator. Because like Amadou is indicating here, Pura as a regulator, you would want to take certain decisions. It's not on you. You would have to suggest, or you'll have to advise a politician to take certain decisions. But the best practice what entails in most countries is a regulator should be able to take some of those decisions, but in this case it's not. But in the revision of the IC Act, I think we have our principals now are willing to listen and are willing to accept some of these changes in line with these are best practices, and it needs to happen. And most likely we may accept for Pura to be taking some of these decisions when it comes to licensing, revocation, and so on. I don't know whether it's going to be automatic or it's going to be in the next 1 or 2, 3 years, but eventually this is going to happen. Our regulators, either central bank or of course the Pura, needs to be empowered to take critical decisions.
Okay, what happens when we create a talent pool, right? And these talent pools, they now begin to innovate. What are they going to rely on to innovate? And I think these are some of the things that we need to have. But I think the conversation will continue happening.
If I can just a minute to chip in on that. So when it comes to emerging technologies, we have as a ministry, we have taken note, and it's like you need to crawl to walk. We know when it comes to technologies, you can actually leapfrog. Mm-hmm. You can jump from 2G to 4G. You don't need to jump from 2G to 3G. So as a country, we need to get to there. But as far as access and affordability is concerned, I was talking about that. Yes. As a country, we still have some teething issues to address. Mm-hmm. The cost. Do we have a redundancy in place? Let's say the Internet of Things, if everything goes online and ACE goes down, what happens to us as a country? We remember the blackout that happened for over 8 hours, and in fact, it was so unfortunate. The President of the Republic was supposed to attend an ECOWAS presidential meeting, and he couldn't attend because Internet was down. This is actually very, very serious. It is. No financial transaction could happen for almost 8 hours. Mm-hmm. So these are the prerequisites that we need to address as a country. Mm-hmm. Before we're talking about, all those things are very, very important, but I think we need to address these 13 issues to be able to get there. But we have taken note, and we are actually looking into having studies on some of these things. And the great thing is the new World Bank project under the ministry, the WADIP, is going to look at most of these things. Because the other issue we have as a government is you have to understand limited resources. So you have to prioritize your resources. And ICT is still not recognized as a priority of the priorities in government. Mm-hmm. So if you look at ICT contribution to the economy is massive, but if you look at the budget of the ministry, it's actually peanuts. So this is the conversation that we are trying to make sure that our politicians understand. Until that happens, it's going to be. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. Can we have a huge round of applause to our panelists here? We would have to excuse Ms. Mary Lokan, but we'll be opening the floors for question and answer. She has an important call to pick. But yeah, thank you so very much for your contributions. She's still going to stick around, and Cloud.gm here, they have a exhibition booth. So if you have any questions related to the cloud or the Innovate Gambia initiatives, you can scoop over there right after this panel. But we'll be opening the floor to take about 3 questions for our panelists before we have our closing statements. Yes, there's a dude. I need help with the microphone. One of the ushers, please. Yes. We're keeping it short and concise because we do have to have the award ceremony, and we're 30 minutes behind time. Yes. It's on. You can speak.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, my question goes to Kashma. Okay, I heard you saying talking about cyber crimes and cyber threats. Okay, my question is, how can we protect ourselves from cyber threats and cyber security?
Kashma or Mokte?
Did you say how? Hello? Hello?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's working. Yeah. Can we have some help with the mic, please? His mic.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello? Okay. I'm sorry. Did you say how can you protect from cyber crimes? At an individual level, or what Kashma is doing to protect?
No, at individual level.
At an individual level. Okay. Do you have Kashma?
What?
Do you have Kashma?
No.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
I wish you did. So at an individual level, and some of these things we've actually built into Kashma, right? We ask you for your, the traditional, PIN. When you register, we ask you for a PIN. A lot of people like to just put 1234 or 1122, right? And what do? Kashma tells you, no, you cannot use a simple PIN. And we have an algorithm to determine if the PIN is too simple and kick it back to you. Until you pick a complex PIN, you cannot go forward. And the same thing goes with the passwords that you pick. We try to ensure that you pick complex passwords. If you pick passwords that are known to be simple, and there are databases for this, right? And we can call on that and say, this password is too simple, we cannot accept it, right? Every transaction you do, we prompt you, we will tell you that you pick, you enter your PIN. So, but besides that, Kashma is like your, sort of like ATM card. If you take your ATM card and give it to somebody and tell them, here's my PIN, here's my password, right? Then you have exposed yourself. So there's a little bit of self-responsibility, responsibility that has to be taken on the side of the consumer, but Kashma is also taking responsibility for those that may not be sophisticated enough to realize that, hey, I might be exposed by providing something that can be easily guessed or hacked or easily compromised. So we always say, keep your PII, your personal information, very secret. Make sure that you don't share your PINs. Make sure you don't share your passwords. Make sure you update the app, right, frequently. I'll tell you, I think we've probably had, I would say, 40 updates in the past 6 months. And some of those are security updates. Some of those are functionality enhancements. So making sure that you're having the most up-to-date app can also improve your security, your cybersecurity posture.
Thank you so very much. One more question on the floor. Yes, the guy with the tie at the back. Yes.
Thank you very much. My first question goes to, I think, the lady from Cloud GM and others. Why is why are domain names so expensive in the Gambia? I mean, it is exorbitant. Apart from that, the second question goes to the Ministry of, the ministry guy. What are you waiting for the agency that you are planning to establish since 2017? The government agency responsible for, digitalization and the other ones. Apart from the ministry, that was the first thing you guys started, but it never materialized. We've noticed that Gambian websites are so bad. Most of the government websites don't even have, they don't have websites. Ministry of Interior, so many of them. So I think I'll stop at that. Thank you.
Okay. For your question about domain, I believe your name is Kejao Toure, right? Yeah, so you bought your domain from us, and it was the cheapest you can find. But soon you can buy a domain name for $600. So that is our mission. In the next few months, it will be the cheapest ever in terms of buying domain names. So
I think that's great news. Getting the domain 600 and also making sure that we get this .gm redelegated. I think that is going to be the best news we have as a country. But let me start with the last one. Why are websites, government websites, not good? Let me give you, when I joined the ministry as a cadet, in May 2010, the government had promised the former president that on his birthday, we are going to launch the government web portal on all websites of the ministries. So as officials, we had to actually kind of develop all websites for all ministers, including the government web portal, that is the gambia.gov.gm. After it was commissioned, few years, 2, 3, 4 years, because it was supposed to go through stages, publishing transaction interactions. But as technicians, to get content on these websites is not actually the job of a technician. It is actually the job of a content, maybe an information officer, communications officer, whatsoever. So this has been the challenge, because people for too long, they would feel website is there, the ICT official is there, and these sites are not populated or they are not updated. But to get the content on these sites, those are not actually, that is not the job of the technicians. But I think over time, institutions are aware, and then they've gotten to get these information officers. But getting the content for the information officers is still a challenge, because you have to know sometimes you are dealing with people who are not actually willing to provide content so that these officers will actually get them there. Yeah. Also, I think, some ministries have actually partnered with the private sector to develop better websites, I want to indicate, because what we provided was okay, but it was not the best available at the time. So some institutions went to the extent of partnering with the private sector, which as a ministry we actually love and welcome very much, to give them better websites. But even when they have these websites, it's actually a zero draft. But to get this content, it's not the job of that private institution to populate the sites. So you will still have that issue. So with regards to the ICT agency, you're very right, but I think, like I indicated before, we have the operationalization of the agency is actually happening now. A director general has been appointed, and if you guys followed the papers a few weeks ago, we were advertising for some critical positions under the ICT agency. I think that is actually happening, and this agency is there to coordinate ICT projects and programs within government, and to spearhead the e-government agenda. But what we have realized is even though you're going to have this ICT agency, but the private sector will still play a very, very crucial role, because government cannot do it alone. Yeah. Just one last thing. I recall we went to Ghana and we went to Rwanda on study tours. And I realized their data center, the NITA data center in Ghana, is actually managed by a private sector entity. We went to Rwanda. The data center of RISA, that is the equivalent of the ICT agency, is also managed by a private sector company. So I was tempted to ask, why do we have these private sector companies managing these entities? Because for us, we've been thinking, once we get the ICT agency, we will get a data center and they will manage it. So they were like, no, the ICT agency is still a government entity, and the bureaucratic red tapes will still be there. So even though we are operationalizing the ICT agency, the private sector, until government has this trust and confidence in working with the private sector, we will still have those issues. I think what we need to do is to make sure we trust the private sector and work with them. I recall earlier in my career when we had cloud.gm and we are pushing this cloud, people will always, say, that this fear factor has been there for too long. Why cloud? Why cloud? But at some point, it's the inevitable, because you're not giving people something better. So obviously they have money, they will go. So as a minister, you need to take stock and know, you know what, if you're not giving them better, they will eventually go. And you have to start trusting these things, because these cloud service providers, maybe their platforms are even much more secure because they are spending more money on security than you are doing as an entity. Yes. So I think there needs to be a strategy rethink and to trust what we have as a country and move on, because government clearly cannot do it alone. Thank you.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Exciting stuff. One more question, and please keep it short, and then we wrap up. I'll go to Joseph. Yes. The web way.
Okay, good afternoon. My question goes to Pira, and it relates to interoperability. I want to know what sort of plans or strategy you have in place, especially for the GSM operators, to ensure that there's interoperability exists between them. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of service that the GSM operators are offering that are not accessible across their network. One of them, for example, is short code. Like, for instance, if you need a short code, you have to ensure that you go to all these GSM operators that this short code number is terminated from all these GSM operators. Whilst, in fact, you could have just gone to one GSM operator, have this number terminated with them, and then the other GSM operator to forward all calls coming to that short code to this particular GSM operator. So the issue of interoperability is really an issue. And then other service could be this mobile money, but short code is really my concern. So I really want to know what are some of your strategies or plans you have in place to ensure that interoperability exists between these GSM operators? Thank you.
Thank you, Pira.
Yeah, there is interoperability within the GSM sector. That is a matter of choice. If you want to go by one operator, for them to be forwarding your calls to the other operators, it is very possible. And there are people who are already doing that. You don't have to necessarily go to all the different, there's cost attached to it. We do not get involved in your business relationship with the service providers, but you could choose whoever would be your service provider, and then they could route your traffic, to all the other GSM operators. But it is possible.
All right. I hope your question was answered. I'm multitasking at this point. But I think it's, yep. Do we have any more questions on the floor? Awesome. No, I think you had the chance to ask one. Let me look at the time. Yeah, no, we'll take that to side discussions. Now that I just looked at the time, we'll take that to side discussions. But quickly, 1 minute for each one of you guys. I'll start with Kashmir just because you're private sector. What are some of the recommendations that you have in terms of improving the landscape for your other fellow panelists here?
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to work on how do we articulate the benefits better, right? How do we articulate the transformational value of the services? Not just say, like you said, up to last year there was 2 operators, now there's 10,
yeah,
right? And what are those 10 doing? Are they explaining to people the purpose of existence, or are they just coming into the market just because, it's the next, the fear of missing out?
Yes.
Right? So if you're in the market for the fear of missing out, you're not really providing any value to your consumers. So how do we, us as the providers, how do we articulate the benefits better? Communicate better to our stakeholders. That way, because only then would they have that light bulb go and say, instead of going to line up at the Navek traffic light, let me just chill at home, save my $12 times 2, $24 and buy cash power. Because still people go to Navek and buy $50 cash power and pay fare to get there. Right? But we have not had that discussion. Like, we have not really explained to them for the light bulb to go off. So I think there's a little bit on our side that we need to do to have a conversation with our consumers about the benefits of this, the safety benefits, the convenience benefits.
Thank you so very much, Keba. And scooting over to Mr. Saul, any closing statements?
In 3 words.
Yeah.
In 3 words, we update our legal documents, we invest in human capital, and we nurture talent.
Thank you. That is exciting. Something to look forward to. And lastly, to my big boss here, Mr. Amadou Nyang, any parting statements?
I think for me, as a country, the private sector needs to work closer together. We have seen instances where we do, a lot of some of these consultancies, it actually goes outside. So most of these monies are actually going outside. I think the private sector needs to work together. I think in Gambia, I don't know, but everybody wants to be a CEO. You'll have a CEO without an employee. So I think, we need to have these frank conversations, and we need to come together as entities to be big. We have seen companies that are actually here, and they are doing very well outside. So I think we also need to come together and engage government to change some of these laws, really, like Amor is saying. Some of these laws on local content, we need to talk about that. As the ICT agency, in the law of the ICT agency, it says 40% of everything the ICT agency will give out has to be local. But the fear here is, do we have the capacity? But if we come together, we have a lot of capacity in country. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. One last time, a huge round of applause to my panelists here, to Mr. Amadou Sow. Thank you so very much for honoring our invitation. Mr. Keba, who I had to drag. Literally, he doesn't like doing these things, but thank you so very much. Your insights are really, really necessary. And Mr. Amadou Nyang, who has always been with us, I mean, he, at this point, I feel like is an honorary ITAC executive member at this point. So thank you so very much. You've never turned down our invitation, and we really, really appreciate that. And on that note, I will hand over to Ms. Therese Keta to go ahead with the award ceremony. Thank you very much.
Tissue. Let me put it in the corner. Can we have the back of music? Can we have Vivian back on the stage? Okay. Should we take everything off the stage? I think everything should be.
Hello, Amadou.
Going.
Yes, and hello. Isn't it too far? We have to display, then go open.
Well, when you watch it, we sort of have space.
What next?
These things should come out.
Pictures? What? Oh, you don't want to do that. Hey.
Boy. Wow.
No, let them bring it down, please.
Down?
Well, yeah, it's going to cover this. You asked them to put it there. Can you tell them to bring it down, please? Yes, but that should come down.
Why do you think so?
It's messy on the stage. You can't just move it to a corner. It's the stage.
No, you forward.
Yeah, you need to hold it. You're going to put it on the bottom. No, this part. Why don't you just put it on top of the box? Or okay, like this? Yeah, or does it have somewhere to stand?
Actually, that's what Auntie B said. But yeah, I think that's right.
What about this? The next one over there?
Yeah, everything should come down. We're giving out awards. It's the last thing, so we don't need to.
Okay. Let me wait for board no. Public table is free.
So you display them.
Yeah, display them. Then you cameraman, you muna dem natal. No. Leave it would be nicer. But it has to be. It should be forward facing.
Yeah,
Like this. Wow.
but the table is
I think the table is okay where it is. It's fine. Let it be facing them.
You still owe me after money. Let me tell Masimiko. Okay. Look, see what it does to you? It's leaving a mark on my arm. While we're waiting to start the award ceremony, we'll just have an announcement of the winners for the previous pitching competition.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So we're back on stage, and we want to announce the winners for the pitching competition, ICT Expo 2023. So we had 4 startups that standed for the prizes. So we had Wico, we had Presents, we had Quartec, and Smiling Coast. So the competition had been quite tough, and the scoring very challenging. And all the startups had been scored based on these 4 particular points: the presentation, the innovation of the business, the market potential, and the readiness of the business itself. So far, we have 3 winners, and our first winner is, with 120 points, Wico. The second place, coming for a young lady that presented quite very well, Presents. And our third winner is one of the well-known startup in the Gambia and an icon in the tourism industry for startups. We have Smiling Coast. For the prizes, we have the first place, the access to the incubation program for Gambia Tech, which will help him to, let's say, open up his business to more opportunities. At the same time, he will attend the annual gathering of the Teranga Tech network in Senegal. He will also have access to 1 Android tablet and 1 exhibition booth at the Gain Investment Day. So the second place will get access to the incubation program as well, 1 Android tablet, 1 month digital marketing package, and 1 exhibition booth during the Gain Investment Day. And the third place will have access to the Gambia Tech incubation program as well, 1 month digital marketing package, and 1 exhibition booth during the Gain Investment Day. Now we invite all the 3 startups, to not say like all the 4 startups, to get access to approach us and to have access to the mentorship sessions and the coaching sessions that will help them to develop better businesses and better strategies. So thank everyone and congratulations to the winners. Thank you, Jojo. We have Therese. Therese. Coming back.
Congratulations to all the winners. We'll now move on to the last item on our agenda, what we've all been waiting for, the award ceremony. So I'd like to call on Babakar Koli to give out the first award. Babakar Koli from the Gambia project. So the first award goes to the ICT Startup of the Year, GISCO. GISCO is a dynamic and innovative digital solutions provider delivering cutting-edge software development and digital marketing services to businesses with a team of skilled professionals and a passion for helping clients succeed in the digital world. GISCO is dedicated to delivering high-quality results and building strong, lasting relationships. Whether you need custom software development or a comprehensive digital marketing strategy, GISCO has the expertise to help you achieve your goals and stay ahead of the curve. They strive to simplify the complexities of technology, providing user-friendly and tailored solutions that propel their clients to new heights. With a customer-centric approach, they aim to be the go-to partner for businesses seeking transformative digital experiences. Give it up for GISCO. Move to the front. Thank you. So GISCO is winning the ICT Startup of the Year. Something to say? Yes.
Thank you, ITAC. Thank you for the recognition. This is very refreshing. When we started this 3 years ago, we didn't know we'll get here. We didn't even know what we were doing. We just took a leap of faith, and we're here. Startup of the Year, 3 years later. Thank you.
I would like to thank the entire team of GISCO, our colleagues, our partners and clients for always supporting us throughout the journey. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call upon the EU representative, Buba Tamba. to give out the Youth Innovation Award. The Youth Innovation Award, yeah, please come on stage, Buba. The Youth Innovation Award goes to G-Quiz. G-Quiz is an ed-tech platform that empowers students to take ownership of their educational journey by promoting independent learning through personalized content and active self-engagement. Their vision is to help students develop a love of learning through self-sufficiency and a personalized experience. Their mission is to empower students to become independent learners by giving them control over their own educational journey. The same people. Congratulations. You guys want to say something?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ibrahim Senghor, one of the co-founders of G-Quiz, with my two partners, Kara and Baba. We would like to thank you for this incredible honor, and receiving this award for Best Youth Innovation is both humbling and motivating for our team. It's a testament to the hard work that we've been doing and the dedication for it. And it's also a reminder for the great responsibility we have for keep on pushing boundaries and keep on making positive impact in the African students' lives. So we have a slogan at G-Quiz that is, every moment counts and every student matters. Meaning that at G-Quiz we believe that every student has the potential to succeed, regardless of their background or their circumstances. So we are committed to providing them with the tools, the resources, and the support they need to unlock their full potential and to achieve their dreams. So we're grateful to ITAC for recognizing our efforts and for their commitment to fostering innovation in the youth. And I personally would like to extend my gratitude to my two partners and co-founders, Baba and Kara, incredible people. I would like to extend my gratitude to our team, to our partners, AfriCell, and also to our users, of course. And yeah, with that said, once again, I'm Ibrahim Senghor. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here today, an absolute pleasure to receiving this award as well. And we see you in our journey on building a unicorn. Thank you so much, everybody.
Congratulations once again. So for the next award, the Innovative ICT Product of the Year, I'd like to call upon Sidi Bensouda, if he's here, to help give out the award. This award goes to Skills.gm. Skills.gm is an innovative online platform that connects skilled workers with clients seeking their services. Their platform aims to be the go-to solution for individuals and businesses looking to hire skilled professionals in various fields, including web development, design writing, carpentry, plumbing, and more, by offering a seamless and efficient marketplace. They facilitate the exchange of talent and expertise and opportunities for skilled workers and clients alike. So, Innovative ICT Product Award. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, ITAC, for this wonderful award. I'm actually very exciting today for this award, and I'm dedicating this to my team at Fallen Technologies and Skills.gm. We have been working very hard on this platform since 2020, and we believe this is just the beginning of everything, because we believe that the skilled workers need a platform so that those looking for them, it will be easy for them to be found. So basically, Skills.gm is going to be a game changer platform, and right now we are working on a mobile app which is actually 90% ready, and very soon the mobile app will roll it out so that everybody will have access to it on their phone. So if you know any skilled worker in the Gambia, please tell them to visit skills.gm and let them join. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next award is the ICT Solution Provider Award. I'd like to call Amadou Sow from Pura, if he's here. Amadou Sow from Pura? No. This award goes to TableSoft. TableSoft is a pioneering financial technology company with a mission to advance financial inclusion. They achieve this by offering cutting-edge digital payment services tailored to the needs of their target market. Their flagship product, TablePay, is a digital wallet and payment platform designed for Africans at home and in the diaspora. TablePay facilitates diverse payment options and collaborations with local businesses in the Gambia, bridging the gap between the diaspora communities and the local economy. One of their key goals is to address the challenge of high transfer fees for remittances sent by the African diaspora, which often rely on cash, due to the lack of payment gateways in smaller countries like the Gambia. TablePay aims to establish the foundation for a cashless society, making financial transactions more efficient and accessible. Since their establishment in 2021, TableSoft has executed nearly 2 million transactions and built partnerships with over 600 merchants and agents, and as well as other stakeholders, demonstrating their commitment to advancing financial inclusion and digital payments in Africa. TableSoft. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of TableSoft, we just want to say thank you, and there's so much to say, and people that know me know that I talk a lot, so I'll try to summarize this. Last year, we were here attending a pitch competition, and our growth is evident in the fact that we are here this year accepting an award. And this award is for everybody that has believed in our dream, that is still supporting our dream, and the entire team, of course, that works tirelessly. Most times when people come to the office, we all seem exhausted, but because we all believe in the dream and we know that we can do it for Gambia. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We'll now move on to honoring individuals. This next award goes to the ICT Icon of the Year. I'd like to call on Georgia Tambedu to help give out this. The ICT Icon of the Year award goes to our very own Biran Donde Gillen. Biran is the co-founder and CEO of The Hub, a tech hub, an incubator, accelerator, and co-working space that supports founders throughout their entrepreneurship journey from ideation to growth. Biran holds a BSc honors degree in computer science and an MSc in computer networks from Middlesex University, North London. Biran is the first female president of the IT Association of the Gambia, being one of the founding members of the association since 2004. She's at the forefront of the ICT policy creation and has led the hosting of the Gambia's first West African Internet Governance Forum as IGF Committee Chair in 2019. As a representative of the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN, in West Africa, she headed working groups on global internet policy affecting the region. During this time, she also served as an advisor to the Gambia government in ICANN through the Gambia Government Advisory Committee. She has over 15 years' experience in the IT and IT-enabled services sector, having consulted for an array of international agencies over this period. She's an advisor to various women tech groups, such as GamChicks and Women in STEM Gambia. She's a mentor for women in technology in the Gambia and a Girls in ICT advocate. Biran is an avid reader, runs a foundation supporting widows and orphans in her spare time, and is a loving mother of 3. Congratulations, Biran.
Thank you. I'm going to keep this short. I said I wasn't going to cry because I want to dedicate this award to my mother, who I lost 2 years ago. My dad is here with me today, and my children, and my mom has been my rock throughout my life. And this award goes to her. But I also want to take this time to recognize Dr. Georgia. She's just been recognized as one of the Forbes 40 under 40, which is amazing, and the first time it's happening in Gambia, and for a woman. And I want to take this opportunity to recognize her. Georgia, please stand up. This is an amazing achievement, and you need to be celebrated. Just like I'm being celebrated to you, I celebrate you. Thank you.
So next we have the last and biggest award, ICT Pioneer of the Year. This award goes to Ponslet Ileleji, who's currently not in town. He's currently in Sudan, but it will be received by Anna Annette Sambu. Ponslet is a highly experienced computer scientist with over 25 years in the field. He currently holds the position of director at the University of Juba's Innovation Pod, Unipod, and is also the founder of Jocolab's Banjul. His extensive career includes founding and leading Jocolab's Banjul in the Gambia, serving on the board of the Jocolab's Global Network, and running the YMCA's Computer Training Center and Digital Studio. He has been involved in various projects across Africa, covering areas such as ICT for development, digital technologies and education, internet governance, and health informatics. Pons has also been an active member of organizations like the Association for Progressive Communication, ITAG, the West African Internet Governance Forum. He has contributed to internet governance efforts through his involvement with ICANN and served on various committees and working groups. Additionally, he has engaged in partnerships related to sustainable development, data and innovation networks across Africa. Currently, he's the director at the Innovation Pod in the University of Juba, South Sudan, where he works on promoting innovation initiatives in African public universities. I'd like to call on Amadou Nyang from the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy to help us give out this award. Since Ahmad is not here, I'd like to call on Biran, the Vice President of the President of ITAG, to help us give out this award. Biran? Okay, so we'll have Mengelo, the Vice President, to give out the award instead. Thank you, Menge.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, ITAC. I am receiving this award on behalf of my co-founder of Jokolabs Banjul, Ponslet. It's unfortunate he's not in town, but he wrote a thank you speech that I am going to read out today. And it reads, "It is with great honor I receive this award today, which though I would have dearly loved to be here in person, but I am very happy that my co-founder of Jokolabs Banjul, Anna Annette Sambu, is receiving this award on my behalf. She's not only a colleague, but a sister who has been the rock of my work for over a decade. And I can't thank Anna Annette enough for these various initiatives we have done to the creation of Jokolabs Banjul in April of 2015, as the first truly innovative social hub in the Gambia, and part of the Pan-African-centric network of Jokolabs Hub around Africa. This award I am glad to receive after the late Draman Toure, whose idea led to the formation of ITAC starting in 2003. From the late evening discussions in Draman's house, then office, to the formation of ITAC in August 2004. May our good God continue to guide the soul of Draman. He is surely missed, but his work and memory lives on. To you all, let your work speak for itself. Your trumpet will be blown by others. My voucher in life I got from my late mathematician dad, whose exemplary way of engaging and treating people, no matter their social status, I took after. In treating people right and fairly and acting in just a manner in all you do, you get the best from your team. This award goes to all my team as well. I will not be here without them. It takes a team as an organization to get to your destination. Jokolabs Banjul is truly women-led. If I take any accolades, it is based on the amazing young dynamic women I work with. They are truly amazing. Our team extends to all the young women in the Gambia that we collaborate and inspire together. Thank you, Team Jokolabs. As a former ITAC president, and the second one for that matter, I look back to my achievements in ITAC, achieved in the time when innovation and freedom of expression couldn't thrive due to dictatorship. My time as ITAC president led to the organization of a Google Business Forum, the kickstarting of the Internet Governance Forum in the Gambia, which is growing rapidly yearly, and women leading it now. The sending of 12 Gambian professionals consisting of ICT professionals, lawyers, telecoms, etc., to Queensland, Australia for a 6-month course on intellectual property and technology at University of Queensland through the funding of USAID. These few standing out for me. Under Biran, ITAC has grown to be a true representation of ICT professionals, students, and ICT companies in the Gambia. It has also become more diverse and inclusive. When ITAC was formed in August 2004, Biran was the only lady, but today we have several ladies in ITAC, and the association for the last years has been totally women-led, and we see the results. Kudos to all the ITAC staff. I close by saying I remain ever grateful to my family, including my dads in the heavens, my mother, brother Klein, sisters Hazel and Rukles, my 5 nieces and 1 nephew, my amazing children, Madeline and Ponsla Jr., my other brother, Yankubu Lamin Marena and family, my industry colleagues and professionals, Teams Jokolabs Global, and the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, who are always ready to collaborate within an open-minded approach to doing things right. I'll end with this quote: "I shall pass through this world but once. Any good that I can do or any kindness I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer it or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again," by Stephen Glaret. This has always been a guiding principle in all I do. I hope you learn from it, and if you look at it very well, you will always stay on the good side of doing things right. This is what humanity is all about. This is what our religion preaches. Thank you all, and I received this award as the ICT Pioneer 2023 from ITAC at the second ICT Expo with humility and gratefulness. Thank you, ITAC, for recognizing my contributions to our industry. God bless you all, and may God continuously bless the Gambia in peace and tranquility as we all work together, achieving a better Gambia for us and our generations to come. It starts by doing things right. Thank you, with God's blessings. Ponslep. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We just want to have one last thing before we have the vote of thanks. Our partners from AfriMoney just want to say a few words for 2 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting us, ITAG. I think we can all agree that it's been a successful day today, and also congratulations to all the award winners today. Just to give a brief insight of AfriMoney and what we do, and as some of you may already know, AfriMoney, we're a sister company to AfriCell, and we are a mobile service provider. And we don't just do savings, but also you can do other facilities on our platforms. Like you can buy your data, you can buy your cash power, you can do your fuel. We even have Osusu platforms on our AfriMoney platform. Sorry. And also regarding our data, we also have very cheap data on AfriMoney, and we have over 1,000 agents across the country. And have I missed anything yet? No, yeah, so we have 1,000 agents across the country, and it's very easy to use. You don't need a smartphone. You can just use a simple phone for your AfriMoney account. It's just dial *777#, and then you can register yourself. As you can see, both of my team's members are there. So I've just been given a limited time, so I cannot go beyond what I need to say. So any further inquiries, anything you need, I would like you all to come visit us on our booth, and then we can give you most of our flyers, and you can take them with you, and then you can go through and see and get more conversant with our AfriMoney platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, AfriMoney. We have now come to the tail end of the event. My president was supposed to give the vote of thanks, but she's still in her emails, still crying, but you really, really deserve it. And it shows even in your award speech, you always find a way to uplift other people in the process, and I'm so, so proud of you and all the other awardees in today's ITAC Expo. Just last vote of thanks, I just want to say a huge thank you to the awards committee. It was a very, very difficult job for us to hone down into the startups that ended up winning in the ICT Pioneer and the ICT Icon Awards. But I want to say a huge thank you to GCCI, who was part of the awards committee, Mr. Babu Saho. We also had the president MD of GAIN, Mr. Mamoudou Drame, the president of the student union, the ICT, Student Association of the university, Mr. Mohamed Toure, and we had Olawale from the American Online University as part of the awards committee. So thank you very much for your hard work. It looks like you guys did a great job. Secondly, I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, Security Port. I can never say that name. Security Port, they were part of our sponsors. We had the ITAC treasurer, even though she couldn't be around, she wanted to also donate. So thank you very much, Adama. A huge thank you to the Gambia Tech Project for supporting the ITAC Expo of 2023, the Ministry of Digital Economy, AfriCell, AfriMoney, Pura, and Lumo. Thank you so very much for sponsoring this year's edition. I want to say a huge thank you to the EXCOM, our able president, the secretary, the youth rep, and the treasurer. Thank you so very much. I think we have a former president in the house. Thank you so very much for attending, Mr. Sidi Bensouda. I also want to say a huge thank you to our exhibitors. You guys make the expo what it is. Cloud.gm, ITAC, GISCO, INET, Gambia Tech Project, Fallen Technologies, Stable, Make 3D, Intis Global, Asutech, AfriMoney. I'm trying to do everybody here at the hub. Thank you so very much for participating. The press, Eyeafrica TV, have always been partners of the expo, and I want to say a huge thank you to the press. I know that's right. Thank you to GRTS as well. They were here earlier this morning as well. Thank you so very much to the students that traveled all across the country to attend today's event. A huge thank you to our national parliamentarians that are in the room. This, our honorable here has sat here through the entire day, and want to say a huge thank you to you. And last but not the least, I want to also thank our two able staff. Binta, I really need Binta on stage. Where is Sabel? Aji Sabel? Yes. I know she's so tired, but Binta, if you can join me, I just want you guys to give this girl a huge round of applause. I know we did a little bit of a downsize this year, but thank you so much. This woman and Sabel here has not slept in 3 months, and I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you. And on that note, I would like to declare this event closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the viewers of Eyeafrica TV, wherever you are. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. And as you have just heard from Mengelo there, we have come to the tail end of the program. It has been quite a very, very eventful session or activities here since in the morning. We have had and witnessed some insightful discussions and presentations, and of course, engagements, networking, and all that. I think this is what ITAC has been looking forward to, and we say congratulations to the committee for organizing yet another successful event. It has been the 3rd edition of the ITAC Expo. So as we conclude this year's event, we want to take time to reflect on some of the issues that have happened here today. Since in the morning, of course, we will conclude with the president to see her impression of this year's edition and look forward to what to expect next year as well, looking forward to the 4th edition. So we want to thank and congratulate all those that have been awarded, startups, individuals, organizations, if you like, all of you for one way or the other, for making the event a success. We say thank you, and for those that are also that have partnered with ITAC, and in whatever form, we equally recognize your efforts in supporting ITAC to organize such a wonderful event. So like I said, it has been quite a very, very interesting day, You know, a lot of things has happened. So as people are about to leave the hall, we want to summarize and engage the president and some of the other executive members. You know, su ko defee rek mbokk yi ñu gërëmaat leen bu baax a baax ci bàyyi xel bi ngeen di bàyyi xel Eyeafrica TV waaye programme bi nga xamante ne depuis suba ñu ngi leen fi indil special live coverage ci ITAC Expo edition bi mu nekk ñetteeli edition bi ren gis ngeen lu fa jot a xew yëpp ak lu ñu fi amal tey daanaka nag programme bi jeex na lii lañ fi amoon waaye dañ koy tënk rek ci lu fi jot a xew ci ay waxtaan ci ay recognition yi nga xamante ne dañ leen sargal tey ci bés bi mu nekk lu am solo xam naa président bi nañu fekk ci jotaay bi ci kanam tuuti ñu round up session bi once and for all ñu joxante dig daje incha allah ba déwén maam lii moo ñu fi dajale woon nga ñu gis ni mbir mi demee lii lañ fi doon séntu gis tamit Gambia xale yi surtout ci taxawaay bu ñu am ci wàllum IT mooy information technology ñu ngi cee wone seen xarañteef di am taxawaay yu am solo te lii la ñuy xaar tamit Gambien ndaw yi gën a farlu ci taxawaay bi xam naa kilifa yi mooy ngiru Gambia nguur gi ci boppam war nañoo gis ne te xam ne tamit am na lu leen di xaar ci taxawaay ci bari li nga xamante ne mooy li jëmee ci wàllum internet ak technologie ndax jamono moom moo ko laaj.
jërëjëf Amadou nekk na lu am solo depuis ci suba ba tey dégg nañ fi xalaat yu wuute gis nañ fi gis-gis yu wuute. li ko waral mooy gis nañ expo bi nga xam ne am na ci ndaw yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo fi daje woon ku nekk doon addu ci wane xalaatam ak yaakaaram ak gis-gisam ci lu wuute ci naka la ñuy doxalee li nga xam ne mooy jumtuwaayu xarale yi ba réew mi mun koo jëfandikoo ci lu nga xam ne dinañu jural njëriñ loolu tax na fa mu ndar keppale gis na nu ñuy jox ay ndaw raaya yooyu nag lu muy wane mooy ku nekk lu nu mel mun na laa ñaax pour nga bokk ci ñu nga xam ne saa yoo xoolee raaya bi dina am lum la yokk ci xalaat ak gis-gis buy tax yow nga bokk ci ñu nga xam ne lu nu mel dina la ñaax ci lu bëree bëri. loolu mooy lu ñu yàggoon di xaar ci taxawaay li nga xam ne mooy ndaje li tey ndax gëm nañ te am nañ yaakaar ci njortu ne mun na loo dem ba mun a jëriñoo li nga xam ne mooy jumtuwaay xarale yi mu mun a jural réew mi njëriñ jural li nga xam ne moom moo nekk Gambian si ci taxawaay bu nga xam ne ku nekk ci ñin mun na ci am xëy bu nga xam ne mun nga toog sa kër di liggéey xaalis bu nga xam ne mun na laa jëriñ doo si ñaqata sa xel ak sa xalaat ngay jëfandikoo te loolu moo waral tey taxawaay bi ñu gis depuis ci suba ba tey xalaat ak gis-gis lañ fi doon wone ci taxawaay bu nga xam ne ku nekk am na gëm-gëm ak yaakaar ne lu nu mel buñ ko toppee ñi dooleel ko ci niñ déggee nguur ñi wax ci seen teewaay fii dañ jàpp ne effort siñ ci war a yokka complementation la war a doon ngir askan yi mun a xam njëriñu taxawaay li nga xam ne moom moo nekk internet ak jumtuwaay yi xarale yi ba mu wuute ak li nga xam ne gis-gis bi ci ki toog këram di am jàpp ne WhatsApp lan la mun a jëriñ mooy nga yónnee message nit receive ko ngeen toog waxtaan ci saagante xasante ci lu nga xam ne amalul réew mi benn njëriñ te askan wi soxla nañ tey lu leen di jëlal njëriñ ndax koom-koom ak am buñ koy wax jumtuwaay xarale yi mu ngi ciy jëriñ askan wi ci lu bëree bëri
jërëjëf maam thank you very much ci kaddu yi am solo yi xam naa dinaa dellu siwaat ci yow but of course ñu ngi ko doon wax ci ndorte bi président bi fekk si ñu ci jotaay bi of course xam naa ne kontaan na and all that pour gisaat beneen édition mu am ci nu mu amee mu nekk ay success Mr. President thank you very much for coming and congratulations by the way for yet again organizing another successful ITAC Expo event. I know you must be very happy. Tell us, what is your impression overall, what have happened since in the morning? It has been quite very engaging, insightful and all that. Like I said, I know you must be delighted.
All right, thank you. Is it on?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and really it's a bittersweet for me, as I mentioned in my speech. But in terms of really the expo, since the morning, I would say since yesterday when we had the students coming in from Basse and CRR, that's where the excitement really started building up. Because this is the first time we're really having, receiving this many students in one go from the provinces. And they came with excitement, they came with lots of questions, and they really want to sort of explore and truly understand what they can really gain from this kind of an event. And it's new to them, and that's really what the whole purpose of the expo is about, is to really exhibit what we have to offer, create those B2Bs that we want, where the service providers can actually be able to tap into projects and propose and potential partnerships with donor agencies, with the public institutions, with private sector. But at the same time, we want it to be a platform where we're able to discuss issues openly with the people who are making decisions at the top level, with policymakers, with lawmakers. And we are happy to say that we had very interesting conversations with the likes of permanent secretaries, with the likes of directors of ICT, from the Central Bank, from Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. We had representation from the National Assembly, from the EU, from the International Trade Center. So you see the cross-sector of public and private sector here today, all discussing, all challenging each other. And in the midst of all this, you have young, intelligent, vibrant students. I came across 2 from Nusrat, and they're 14 years old. They're best friends, young boys, and they said they're teaching themselves to code.
Wow.
And that gave me the opportunity to take them to someone that does that for a living.
That's amazing.
And this person can be their mentor, can help them to really make sense of this huge, amazing tech ecosystem that there's no boundaries.
Yeah, certainly.
But you know, in everything in life, I was speaking to someone earlier, I said, in everything in life, if you really and truly want to be successful, don't want to repeat the mistakes of others, get yourself a mentor. Get someone that would hold your hand throughout this journey, because that's the best way to grow.
Absolutely. You know, you have summed it all, basically. And as we come to the end of this year's event, we spoke earlier in the morning to your Vice President. He highlighted the journey, some of the challenges, the ups and downs. And this is the 3rd edition. Moving forward for the future, what do you intend to do? This day you decided to go all the way to the provinces to decentralize, bring students, especially on education. What should we expect? What is the plan moving forward?
This was part of the reason we actually brought the students from the provinces. We know that decentralizing is a stage-by-stage approach, which everything there's baby steps. So we said, before we decentralize, why not actually the people that are there, let's bring a few and see what that impact is like. And from this program, we're going to do an evaluation, and we're going to see what was the impact of this on these specific students. And if this was quite positive, which I'm sure it will be, then we would start looking at now doing those baby steps and rolling out this on regional level.
Regional level.
Yes.
Certainly.
This is something we really want to look at in partnership with the National Youth Council and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can ask maybe to do a bit of a comparison, this year's event compared to previous events. How would you measure it in terms of success and lesson to learn that you think as a president could help you to keep growing big and also trying to keep inventing new things, and of course also trying to keep this expo growing bigger and bigger as it ever has been since the start of this program?
I think what we've learned between last year and this year is to start creating organizing committees. And really getting this more inclusive. Let it not be about ITAG. Let's bring in our members, let's bring in our collaborators, let's bring in our partners. And let them be a part of the journey of actually organizing the expo. Then you see the ownership.
I heard the PS mention something like that.
Yes.
They're thinking of coming forward and partner with you on this.
Exactly. So I think really my takeaway from this expo is, one, having a structured organizing committee that will be throughout the year. So at the back of this expo, set up something like that will start preparing for the next expo. That will start looking at some of the things that we can make better come 2024. And then in addition to that, start partnering with and collaborating with institutions, and that way they can also be permanent sponsors and partners of ITAC. This becomes a part of their budget. This becomes something that every year is permanently stuck in there. Just like you have your travel stipends in your budget, you're going to have the ITAC ICT Expo. You know that every year this is something that I'm going to put a little bit of money towards. And these are some of the things that once we institutionalize them, it becomes much easier. We don't have to struggle for funding, and it becomes owned by the community. It's not about ITAG anymore. The expo is now for everyone.
All right. Finally, before I will allow Ma'am to take you on the local language, precisely on all of, so we can submit it as well. Like I said, you are the president and you are just elected in May this year on a post. That means you are trusted to continue serving the membership of ITAG. You are now thinking of exploring new ways, new means to have a bigger program hopefully next year. How would you summarize the journey And since you have become president of ITAC, if I can put it that way, because you have long people here who have been here, and you have recognized some of them today. Some of them are looking up to you. I have had them speaking to you. You are sort of a role model. So what's the vision, by the way, and of course, if you can summarize for us finally.
Yes, I think my journey with ITAC didn't start when I became president. It started 19 years ago in 2004.
It's a long journey
when
then.
ITAC was actually formed. And yes, I am that old.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud for us to come to where we are today, where we're organizing events such as this. And I'm looking forward to next year because I know we're going to make a bigger splash, and we're going to probably not be able to fit in this hall, and we're probably going to need a bigger hall.
Yes, certainly.
But what I will say is this is my second term as president,
Yeah.
and this will be my last term as president.
Yeah.
But I will still be in the background because everyone knows ITAC runs through my veins.
Yeah,
So I'll be there advising and supporting and guiding along the way. But one last thing I would want to say is, again, I was very emotional. I was given my award. I want to specifically thank my dad and my mom, really, for the support they've rendered, but most especially my husband.
And who would you dedicate the award to, if there's any?
Sorry?
Who would you dedicate the award to?
No, I dedicated the award to my mother.
To the mother.
But my mentor, my partner, my up and down, my rock, my everything throughout this entire process has been my husband.
Well done, and congratulations.
And I recognize him.
All
And
right.
I recognize the support he's given.
All right, well done,
throughout this time.
and congratulations by the way. And just balaa ñu tëj rek ma bàyyi la ak président. Dégg nga lim wax ci nasaraan ngeen tënk ko ci olof rek. ñu summarize balaa ñoo tëj inshallah. Waaw.
acca jërëjëf am na solo Amadou comme ni nga ko waxee dañ ko congratulate ndax jigéen ju mën góor la fi mu daanelee foofu la ñuy dooree rek ñu ngi lay congratulate Miss President ci taxawaay bi maa ngi koy wax Amadou ma ne ko budul sax ITAC seen taxawaay maa ngi fàttaliku before Covid Jembe Hall am na international IT conference bu fa amoon nga taxaw ci woon sonnoon ci def ci taxawaay bu am solo loolu yëpp yàgg nañ koo gis mun nañoo recognize sa efforts ci taxawaay bi waaye tey bu ñuy ñëwaat ci lii Birane taxawaayu IT ci biir réew mi dafa mel ni dafa nasaxaay bi mooy ñàkk ndimbal wala askan wi dañ ko ñàkk xam PS toog na fi wax ko ci speecham bi wax na ko tey boo demee ci réew yu bari ci wàllu IT yemuñ ko sax tënk ko ci li nga xam ne mooy njàngam nasaraan kese yemale ko ci English wala French wala loolu dugal nañ ko sax ba nit ñi seen làkk yi tey mun nañoo jëfandikoo li nga xam ne moom moo nekk IT jëfandikoo jumtuwaayu xarale yi tey mbootaay bi taxaw na yàgg ngeen a xeex pour dooleel li nga xam ne mooy taxawaayu IT mébét bi jigéen nga nekk président maa ngi koy wax léegi ma ne lu ma jaaxal sax gars yi dama gis ñi nekk ci organizing committee yëpp jigéen lañ xaw ma jigéen ñi lañ ko jagleel wala góor yi dañ téye seen loxo loolu nu mu demee Miss President.
waaw jërëjëf ndax xam du tombé la rek. waaw te ñu ne xam nga tombé mooy indi ay gaaf tombé la rek.
exactly.
tombé la rek waaye jigéen ñi tamit dañ doon ñefekat. waaw jigéen ñi dañ doon ay jàmbaar. waaw surtout nag jigéen ñi nekk IT because IT dafa nekk loo xam ne. dafa wéeru torop si wàllu góor ñi. jigéen ñi bari wuñ si lool. ndik lu bari si IT lu jëmee ni ki technical liggéey bi mu laaj. di eeg si pôle yi di crimp cable yi loolu yëpp dañ ko gisee liggéey góor. waaw daanaka so pour jigéen ñi farlu si mbala ñu pare see duga jigéen ñi nga xam ne ñu am determination. waaw ñu am pas-pas ñi nga xam ne daal. daanaka sax dañ dëgër boppa ñooy ñemeñ pour duga si fil boobu. so da nga gis ne ñun tamit liñ dee def si suñ waala ITAC li bokk si li ñoo liggéey mooy pour di waxtaan ak xale yi di waxtaan ak askan gi pour encourage leen pousse leen si wàllu IT because nga gis ne bari na xale yi jigéen yu nga xam ne xam nañ naka laa ko waxee sax am nañ xel bi pour jàng ko waaye ragal pour xëj na ne lii paari góor la métier góor la du jigéen daal mënu see am wàlla loolu xelaat boobu noonu nag bugga nañ koo génnee tamit si xale yu jigéen yi wan leen lañ ne waxuma nag ne lu góor mun jigéen mun góor mun na ko déedéet wala lu góor mun jigéen mun na ko waaye tamit waruñoo xool liggéey rek gis ne lii pour góor la wala lii pour jigéen la.
waaw te jigéen yu bari ci IT. nit ñi liñ laan daan dëkkale mooy buñ jàngee computer secretary rek la ñuy doon ñu dem jàng basic computer nekk secretary pare nañ ci waaye tey niñ gisee yéen seen maas yi am technological idea bi am experience bi ba mun koo jëfandikoo ci tey liggéey yi ngeen ciy def tey loolu wax nga ko léegi ne jigéen ñi yéen a ngi leen di motiver te yow exemple nga as the leader waaye coming back to the situation of réew mi dëkk bi ak tolluwaay bi ak jumtuwaayi xarale yi muy IT ak internet mu mel ni ñu bëri tey gis naa ne ci seen team bi bokk na ci li ngeen ci def ba invite Supreme Islamic Council dégg nañ speech bi nga xam ne seen representative bi wax na ko askan wi ñu bëri dañ beddi seen bopp ci wàllu internet IT ak technology loolu tey yan motuwaay ak taxawaay moo tax ren ngeen dem ba boole ci sax nit ci diine yi.
loolu sax moo tax ñu boole si nit ci diine yi parce que dañ bàyyi xel ne lu bari si li ñoo def dañ leen dee fàtte dañ leen dee bàyyi gannaaw surtout arabic school yi ak daara yi te di nga bàyyi soo bàyyee xel di nga gis ne képp koo xam ne jaar nga si daara jafe na lool ñu dugaat si jàngi angale bi ba am si ndam bu rëy a rëy toujours rek dinañ am ay gàllankoor ne kii xëj na arabic school la jàngee xëj na english bi ni mu ko waxee leerut wala ni moo prononcé correctut soo toujours di nga gis ne jafe-jafe yooyu moo dee am moo tax nag tey ñu oo Supreme Islamic Council dem ba waxtaan a Cheikh Essa te lii du lu ñoo bàyyi de because lii dañ si xar suñ tànki tubéy parce que ITAC mbootaay boo xam ne la du pour rek ñi jànga English mbala ñi jànga French pour ñi jànga ñëpp la te fii liñ fi waxtaan mooy jàng mooy lan loo xam ne jànga ko ba mun see faj sa soxla arabique bokkut waxal benn English bokkut waxal ñaar français bokkut waxal ñetta léegi lu tax ñu war a jël arabique wala ñi jànga Quran beddi leen ñu jiital English wala ñu jiital français soo léegi ñun loolu lañ bëgg a jël nag nekk mbootaay boo xam ne bootuñu rek anglais ba boot rek français dañ boot ñëpp su ko defee suñoo ut solution suñoo ut loo xam ne dafa leeral yoon bi ëllëg pour ñëpp lañ ko utal loolu moo waral waxtaan bi tey ñu indi Supreme Islamic Council te bëgg nañ ñoom tamit suñ jógee si expo bii mu doon loo xam ne lu ñoo toppala ak ministry bi of basic and secondary education ak ministry communication bi pour ñu lii seet naka la ñoo jëlee technologie bi boole ko si jàngat bi ñoo jàngat si anglais bi ñu boole ko si arabique
loolu mu am solo loolu nga wax ko léegi tey wax nga ne ren li tax nga gën ci am kontante mooy ne yaatu na ba am nañu jógee siyaaraar am nañu jógee yuwaaraar suma maas gi yëpp nga xam ne ci kaw gi lan jàngee siyaaraar tey amuñ woon opportunity bu ñoo dem school mun a am access to computer ba xam experience bi nga xam ne mënoon nañoo jàng IT wala jëfandikoo jumtuwaay xarale yi ba tey ñi am access bi nga xam ne ki dëkk Greater Banjul am na ko waaye ren ngeen decentralize ko o ndaw yi nekkee foofu ñoom tam ñu ñëw fii ngeen au Minister of Basic and Secondary Education woo ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci nguur pour tey xalaat boobu da ngeen jàpp rek ne li nit ki war a am fii ba mun a jëfandikoo IT mun a jëfandikoo technologie ki dëkk Basse ki dëkk Bansang ki dëkk ñoomi ñëpp war nañ koo mun a am loolu taxawaay boobu tam ci xalaat boobu decentralisation bi ngeen def ren.
waaw di nga gis ne soo bàyyee xel am na compagnie bu fi nekk bu tudda Asutec Asutec ki ko sanca bokk na si ñi ko sanca waa ESEW la
ESEW
waaw bi moo ñëw daf daan cross suba teel di ñëw di use internet café yi fii noonu la raamee di raam ba am lim am tey te Asutec bi maam it man maa ngi remember bi ma wax ne dama daan dem events IT events di la mit ngay joxe speech mu ne loolu bokk na si li tax tey ma toppa suma tax yi ma toppa nii tey xeebuma li fi xew tey ñaar mala ñetti xale yu ñëw ñu dellu wax ko seen ay morom loolu dina war ñu dem si internet bi research mbala ñu dem register pour programming mbala ñu dem lire cyber security mbala sax mun naa tax mu doon lii tax ñu jàng cyber security wala software development ëllëg loolu yëpp mun naa am si benn meeting loolu moo tax façon yi mbootaay yi ak façon yi programme yi lu am solo la te bu ñu xeeb mukk su dee da nga tasee nit sax waxtaana moom xelal ko benn idea because kenn xamut ëllëg kooku ngaa taseel mu ne la anti Birane man de mitoon naa la 10 years ago nga wax ma benn wax moo tax ba léegi tey ma toppa si tànka yi ma toppa nii man loolu every day ma gis ko loolu moo tax du ma mus a taayi si waxtaan bi du ma mus a taayi si joxe
xam naa man fu may daanele rek mooy gis nañ ne ndaw yuy door tey muy start-up yi ngeen awot leen lu dul loolu tam dañ gis ne réew mi Birane ci wàllu internet ak jumtuwaay xarale yi tey boo demee China TikTok mu ngi leen amal use boo demee tey maasi ñoom maag gi Facebook lu mu leen jëriñ yeneen social media apps yi yëpp ñu ngi amal réew mi njëriñ waaye ñin fii jumtuwaay xarale yi munuñ koo jëriñoo lu dul waste fa suñ time xasante saagante yow mi ci am expérience doon yaay boo doon wax ak kilifa yi wax ak njaboot gi wax ak askan yi wax ak nguur gi nan lañ mun a def pour jëfandikoo jumtuwaay xarale yi bam ñu jural njëriñ.
même bi balaa ma accès si loolu dinaa laal tuuti si li nga wax ne China am nañ TikTok ak yeneen dëkk yi am nañ te gis nga ñooñu niñ amee ay ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi liggéey nekk ay jàmbaar si boor boobu noonu la ko Gambia amee waaye unfortunately ñun suñ gaay yi feeñuñ loolu moo tax nag ñuy def expo pour wane ñun tamit doole bi ñu am ak borom xel ak borom xelaat yi ñu am ñuy def liggéey bu takku si biir dëkk bi boo xam ne ñu bari bàyyiwuñ ko xel ñu bari xamuñ ko because amuñ visibility bi pour wane ko waaw loolu laa bëggoon a laal tuuti rek balaa maa ñëw si wàllum
loolu bokk na ci gàllankoor yi
loolu bokk na bu gàllankoor bu rëy la parce que gis nga soo gisee private sector mun a jóg taxaw rek dafaa fekk tamit public sector
li nga sax lu koy dëggal man wax naa ko bu ma xoolee baana yi dama ne 3 or 4 institution laa fi xam man
ñu si des ñëpp
ñu nga xam ne waaw visible yi gis naa leen wala xam naa leen ci biir réew mi tamit Gambian like every other Gambian maa ngi ci media bi mu mel ni li nga wax noonu man mun naa ko dëggal tey waaw
loolu nag mooy problème bi so da ngaa gis ne ñun dinañ mun a jàppa fenn waaye foog tam government jàppa beneen boor waaw because foo gisee private sector mun a boom rek dafa fekk public sector téye si
waaye yéen seen mbootaay bi surtout ITAC ak nguur gi collaboration bi Minister of Communication foog naa ne loolu tamit dafay am solo bu baax pour ngeen di liggéey
axakañ ñun sax ñooy suñ line ministry so da ngaa gis ne lu ñoo bëgg di def rek si ñoom lañ koo jaarale waaye nag am naa yaakaar ne at bii dugga si nii am na changement yu bëri yuy am parce que PS wax na ko si speech am bi waaw ak am na yeneen meeting yu ñu am ministre wax na ko si ay speech am moom tam yi mu joxe fi mu ne nii kañ ñu ngi jonkoon di xaar ak suñ yaakaar te ñaan rek yal na bu yaakaar tas du noonu
waaw ñu tëjee ak maam ci advice bi mu wax ci kaddu yi léegi mu xala doy waar
ni ñoo misuse ñin
waaw
internet
loolu nag li ma si bëgg a sànni tuuti rek am na benn mbootaay bu ñoo ooyee stop harassment for online against online women show waaw Gambia ñoom sax ñu ngi fi teew nañ fi tey da nga gis ne ñoom li ñoo def mooy dañ dee wër biir Gambia fii si provinces yëpp di jàngal xale yi góor yi ak xale yi jigéen yi naka la ñoo user internet bi responsibly naka la ñoo make sure ne nit ñi tamit duñ leen tapale wala nax leen waaye tamit dinañ leen wax tamit ne naka la ñoo user WhatsApp bi make sure ne ñu use ko productively duñ ko use pour loo xam ne dafa leen a lor mbala mu lor seen jàng wala lor seen ëllëg because fi mu ne nii internet bi nekk na loo xam ne loo fa def du nëbbu loo fa def du nëbbu
jërëjëf
waaw jërëjëf
ñu gërëm la sant la bu baax a baax xam naa ba déwén incha allah wala ñu
jërëjëf yéen
incha allah di la ndokkale bu baax a baax di la congratulate ci organisation bi and all that and ci award bi tamit comme maam mi ngi ko waxee xam naa ne ba beneen jotaay incha allah thank you very much thank you moom mooy président bi mu ngi noonu maam su ko defee xam naa ne fii la ñoo ndar keppal jotaay bi ñu bàyyi rek ñu tënk affaire yi naa ba beneen yoon incha allah
jërëjëf Amadou ñi jaajëfal mbootaay bi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo waraloon dajeel yi taxawaay bi am na solo ñaan yàlla ñu fekkee déwén yu bëree bëri ñi dem ba réew mi tamit comme ni ko Miss Praise yi waxee ñi dem ba am Gambian bu nga xam ne dina am app bu nga xam ne adduna bi yëpp dañ koy jëfandikoo Gambia di ko jëfandikoo mu mun a jural réew mi njëriñ ndax am nañ borom xam-xam yi am nañ ñu nga xam ne am nañ yéene bi am nañ xalaat bi liñ soxla rek mooy lu leen dooleel kon réew mi nañu jàppalante yàgg nañ di ko wax te duñ ci tay kenn nit mënul dara lu nit di def rek ay nit ñooy nekk ci ginnaawam te taxawaay boobu mooy dale ko His Excellency président Adama Barrow ministre bi yàgg naa di ko wax te dinaa continuer di ko waxaat ci ndaje lu mel nii liñ soxla mooy efficiency productivity te loolu pour mu am foog ñu gis njëriñ li ci taxawaay yu mel nii internet bi yomba ci réew mi te ku koy jëfandikoo nga mun cee jëfandikoo lu lay jural njëriñ te bu dul loolu nag wax ji day bëri rek waaye
mooy loolu
end result bi du positif
jërëjëf maam Jibi la àndaloon ci jotaay bi as always mu doon mbégte bokk ak moom plateforme bi waaye ñu gërëm bu baax président ITAC ki nga xamante ne mooy Mrs Beran Donde Jilen mu nekk ak jigéen bu am taxawaay ci ITAC expo bi li mooy ren moo nekkoon ñetteeli édition bi ñu gërëm ko bu baax a baax ci taxawaay waaye ndokkale ko tamit ak ñi ko jàppale ci liggéey bi yëpp su ko defee fii la ñu yemandi ak yéen xam naa ne ba suba incha allah ci Good Morning Africa programme nañ continuer waxtaan bi foofu. Well viewers, once again thank you so very much as always for the pleasure of your company. This is all we have for you in this edition. It has become a very successful event yet again this year, and we want to congratulate ITAC for organizing another expo, successful expo. Thanks to the president and the entire executive and all those that have supported the event. Until we catch up again, thanks for watching and do have a pleasant evening from us. Bye-bye.